Good Thursday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversational Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with author Margaret Mizushima about her new book, Striking Range. Enjoy today's program. For Conversational Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Thursday headlines. In national news, COVID-19 surge in the U.S., the summer of hope ends in gloom. The summer that was supposed to mark America's independence from COVID-19 is instead drawing to a close, with the U.S. more firmly under the tyranny of the virus, with deaths per day back up to where they were in March. The Delta variant is filling hospitals, sickening alarming numbers of children, and driving coronavirus deaths in some places to the highest levels of the entire pandemic. School systems that reopen their classrooms are abruptly switching back to remote learning because of outbreaks. Legal disputes, threats, and violence have erupted over mask and vaccine requirements. The U.S. death toll stands at more than 650,000, with one major forecast model projecting it could top 750,000 by December the 1st. It felt like we had moved this forward, positive momentum, to the executive chef and CEO at two restaurants in Asheville, North Carolina. The Delta variant wiped that timeline completely away. More than 6 months into the U.S. vaccination drive, President Joe Biden held a White House party on July 4th to celebrate the country's freedom from the virus, and other political leaders had high hopes for a close to normal summer. Then the bottom fell out. The summer wave was fueled by the extra-contagious Delta variant, combined with stark resistance to vaccinations that formed along political and geographic lines. The crisis escalated rapidly from June to August. About 400,000 COVID-19 infections were reported for all of June. It took all of 3 days last week to reach the same number. The U.S. recorded 26,800 deaths and more than 4.2 million infections in August alone. The number of monthly positive cases was the fourth highest total since the start of the pandemic. During the peak of those waves, Americans over 75 suffered the highest proportion of death. Now the most vulnerable age group for death is 50 to 64. Overall, the outbreak is still well below the all-time peaks reached over the winter, when deaths topped at 3,400 a day and new cases at 250,000 per day. The U.S. is now averaging over 150,000 new COVID-19 cases per day, levels not seen since January. In more national news, Elizabeth Holmes drawn as villain and underdog as trial begins. Prosecutors and defense attorneys sketched dueling portraits of fallen Silicon Valley star Elizabeth Holmes as her trial got underway on Wednesday, describing her as a greedy villain who faked her way to the top, and in other cases as a passionate underdog who spent years trying to shake up the healthcare industry. The two sides are now expected to spend the next 3 months trying to sway a 12-person jury and panel to hear the evidence in a case airing allegations that Holmes used her startup Theranos as a scheme to realize her dreams of becoming rich and famous as one of her role models, late Apple co-founder Steve Jobs. Once hailed as a billionaire on paper, Holmes is now facing a sentence of up to 20 years if convicted of the felony charges. Holmes' rise and fall has already been the subject of documentaries, books, and podcasts, feeding the fervor that is built up around a trial that has been delayed twice since she was indicted nearly 3 years ago. In more national news, Britney Spears' father files to end court conservatorship. Britney Spears' father filed Tuesday to end the court conservatorship that has controlled the singer's life and money for 13 years. James Spears filed his petition to terminate the conservatorship in Los Angeles Superior Court. As Mr. Spears has said again and again, all he wants is what is best for his daughter, the document says. If Ms. Spears wants to terminate the conservatorship and believes that she can handle her own life, Mr. Spears believed that she should get that chance. Judge Brenda Penny, who oversees the case, will need to approve the move. James Spears had been the target of much of the anger surrounding the conservatorship from both his daughter and the public. A petition from Britney Spears' attorney to remove him was to be heard at the next hearing in the case on September 29th. And finally, in business news, stocks slip as Fed report signals downshift in economy. Stocks on Wall Street eased further from their recent highs on Wednesday amid more signs that U.S. economic growth is being dampened by a resurgence in the coronavirus and other challenges. The S&P 500 slipped 0.1%, its third straight drop. The benchmark S&P 500 was roughly split between gainers and losers, but weakness in technology, communication, and financial stocks weighed down the market. Small company stocks fell more than the broader market. Bond yields were mixed while oil rose. The Fed said the slowdown was largely attributable to a pullback in dining out, travel, and tourism in most parts of the country, reflecting concerns about the spread of the highly contagious Delta variant. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Gain a sense of peacefulness. Become willing to let go of anything draining your energy. Look at all the circumstances you put your energies into completing. Are these activities feeding your success, or are they draining you and your bank account? Choose to sever your attachment to unnecessary financial or personal drains. You will instantly create a sense of freedom and inner peace. With the absence of these draining circumstances, you can create a sense of balance in your life. You can consciously choose which activities support your success and which activities you would rather permanently let go. Today, let go of draining circumstances as you create conditions for inner peace and balance. And always remember to enjoy the day.
Author Margaret Mizushima is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight, right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Author Margaret Mizushima joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her literary journey and the new book Striking Range. Here's a bit of our conversation. What has it been like for you already, Margaret, to see the way that readers are responding to the new release?
Oh, I'm so grateful that readers like this book. It was kind of a tough one to write because I wrote it during the pandemic of 2020. And so it was kind of hard to do that with all the distractions. But readers have received it well. The industry book reviewers have received it well, and I'm so excited. It's great to see the book out in the world.
This is a Timber Creek Canine Mystery. So talk to us about this series. How did this series evolve for you?
Well, my husband is a veterinarian, and I always wanted to write a mystery that had a vet in it. My husband says that if he had a nickel for everyone who wanted to watch him work, he would be a rich man. So I thought, okay, people love to watch veterinarians go to work. Maybe they would like to watch a vet work in a book. I decided that I definitely had to have this vet character, but I didn't know how to use him. I thought, well, should he be an amateur sleuth? Murder mysteries don't come veterinarians' way very often. So I decided, no, I think I'll write a police procedural. I'll put a canine handler into the situation. The vet will be the canine's, the dog's doctor. And I'll also have a female handler because they're not as common as male handlers. And there'll be a love interest between the two protagonists. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. But we'll have you guys on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.